It's time for the real estate market update for February 2022, and we're going to get started. Welcome everybody, this is All Things Knoxville. I'm Ben Barredo, local realtor with Coldwell Banker Wallace here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Today I'm going to discuss the most recent housing market data for both the U.S. economy and then the local data for Knoxville, Tennessee. In this video we're going to cover the numbers for the month of February 2022. Before we jump into that, make sure that you like this video and subscribe to my channel. It really helps my channel grow, helps me find a new audience and find people that are in need of my services. All in all, it really just helps me out and my family, and I really appreciate it. And if you're in need of a realtor for any reason, give me a call. My contact information is always in the description. Sometimes it's scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Now with that out of the way, let's jump into the numbers, starting with the housing market data for the entire U.S. economy. Okay, so let's talk about the national inventory. The national inventory of active listings declined by 24% over the last year, while the total inventory of unsold homes, including pending listings, declined by 15%. The inventory of active listings was down 62% compared to 2020, before the COVID onset and the pandemic started. Now let's talk about the listing activity as a whole. Newly listed homes were down 0.5% or half a percent nationally compared to a year ago, and down 0.7% for larger cities over the past year. While annual new listing growth was on average or on the verge of being positive, sellers still listed at 13%, at a rate of 13% lower than they did in 2017 through 2020 levels prior to the pandemic. The national median list price is up next, and for February, the national median list price for active listings was $392,000, up 13% compared to last year and up 27% compared to 2020. So if you bought a home in the last few years, you're doing well. February 2020 in large metros, the median list price grew by only 8% compared to last year on average. And I told you before, I think the reason the rest of the country is having a faster growth in the cities is because everyone's trying to get out of there. Nationally, the typical home spent 47 days on the market in February. That's down 17 days from the same time last year and down 32 days from February 2020. Now we're going to take a look at the promised land, Knoxville, Tennessee, and we're going to start with the average and median sales price for the area. In February, the average sales price jumped almost to $370,000. That's year over year, that's an increase of 26%. This chart right here shows 3 years, each of them between the circles, which is marking each February. As you see, the lines move similarly each year through the sales season, and this past 12 months shows that the appreciation has been more pronounced than in past years. Now we're going to talk about the sales price and the list price ratio. This is a ratio between what houses are being listed at and then what are they actually selling for, and comparing the two. The February 2022 sales price list price ratio was 100%. That's up from 99% from the previous month and up 98% from February 2021. This shows continued pressure on prices and offers. There are, of course, always exceptions. There are some areas in Knox County that are selling 103 to 106% over list price, and there's some that are doing less than that. This is a good statistic to use when you're formulating an offer. Now we're going to talk about the number of properties sold and the absorption rate. This is basically if new homes stopped listing today, then this is how many months it would take for all inventory to sell out. We sold more houses in February than this February than last February, but not quite as many as we sold in January of this year. And if you look at the absorption rate line, you'll see that in 2019 we had more houses coming on the market compared to the numbers being sold, which is why the green line is in the middle of the sales total bar. But if you look at 2020, or what started in 2020 when COVID affected us, the absorption rate started to climb, and that's when we started to feel the current supply and demand pinch start to happen. I do want to point something out though. If there was truly a supply problem, then our sales total would have dropped as supply was deleted. But sales don't stay strong unless there's a supply line continuously feeding the market and entering the market. I've been saying recently, and I'll admit that we've had an inventory problem, and at times saying that we have a high demand problem. I'll admit when my messaging has been wrong, and in this case I have been wrong because it's clearly the latter rather than the former. Houses are hitting the market and feeding this buyer demand and keeping things pretty much level, but they're just not coming out fast enough. We just have 10 times more buyers than we do houses to sell. But I haven't had an issue getting my clients into a house in a short period of time unless they were unsure buyers, they were first time buyers, maybe more hesitant, things like that. So that tells me that there are houses out there for everyone. The time you put into looking is the main factor that fluctuates between my clients in my experience. Next, we're going to talk about average days on market. The average days on market, or DOM, or ADOM, is the number of days a property is on the market before it sells. An upward trend of average days on market, or DOM, tends to indicate a move towards a buyer's market. A downward trend tends to indicate a move towards a seller's market. The DOM for February 2022 was 29 days. That's down 6.5% from 31 days, and that's from the previous month. And that's down 32.5% lower than 43 days from February of last year. So we are moving in a downward projection, seller's market. Next, we're going to discuss inventory and supply of inventory. The number of properties for sale in February 2022 was 2,353. That's up almost 10% from previous months and almost 10% higher than 2,146 that were sold back in 2021. If nothing else was listed, we'd be out of things to sell in about 6 weeks. However, this number has been lower, and yet the supply to enable sales has continued to enter the market. Now we're going to talk about new listings, and the number of new listings in February of 2022 was 1,856, which is up 14% from the previous month. And if you follow the seasonal trend, we'll see more listings coming on the market as we enter into the warmer weather and spring. Listings are increasing. So if you're on the fence about selling, those high home prices are about to start trending downwards. So the peak that you've been waiting for to sell your house is about to pass you by. Also, if you're on the fence because you're afraid of entering the buyer's market, let me assure you that there is a house for you to buy, and I'll help you every step of the way. So that's it for this month's real estate market update. I am trying to keep these videos short and to the point. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, if you have any questions, just give me a call. Thanks so much for stopping by. Have a great day. Bye.